For the times, they are changing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News. Ooh, the daily series here on the channel of Football Therapy, where I see what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, but more importantly, mate, as per the norm, asking for your opinion. The collective Chelsea fan opinion, that's what matters. The community. Game of opinions, right? Football. Lots going on today. Timo Werner in Germany completing his move back to RB Leipzig. Chelsea looking at Aubameyang, seriously. Other, Barcelona players still. Frenkie De Jong. Are we going to sell a midfielder? There's so much going on. And it's exciting and uncertain. One thing's for sure, we need to change and develop because we can't be stinking up the whole league campaign with single goal wins with Jorginho penalties. I'll take it if we win the league. But that would be the weirdest way ever to win a Premier League title. Guys, we're going to get into all of this today, citing the Telegraph, the Evening Standard. Please do consider dropping a like on the video. It helps me out a lot. We got over something like 3,500 likes in the last video. Let's see if we can get over 3,000 again. Just a click of a button. You're welcome to subscribe, and should you choose to do so, what do? That's right, you hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Alright, cool. So we're going to start with Timo Werner, citing an article from Nizar Kinsella of the Evening Standard. Timo Werner has arrived in Germany ahead of his return to RB Leipzig as his Chelsea career comes to an end. A £53 million signing. I thought it was £47 million. From 2020, and a player Chelsea are thought to have signed ahead of Liverpool and Bayern Munich. The 26-year-old struggled to fully convince in the Premier League. While the German international played a key role in helping Thomas Tuchel deliver Champions League success in 2021, Werner's record of 23 goals in 89 appearances for Stamford Bridge Giants forced the club back into the transfer market in 2 separate summers. Pause. So 23 goals in 89 appearances, a lot off the bench, most out wide, and he's also got a similar amount of goals. He actually has about a goal involvement every other game in terms of minutes, which isn't awful for a player playing out wide, but make no bones about it, he was bought to score goals. In 2021, Tuchel turned to Romelu Lukaku in an attempt to bring more firepower into the squad, with Raheem Sterling joining earlier this summer. Once the Belgium had returned to Inter Milan following a nightmare season, you got that right, Naz, so Standard Sport understands, Werner has fallen out with Thomas Tuchel behind closed doors, with Leipzig beating the likes of Newcastle and Juventus to his signature. The Bundesliga side will pay in the region of £20 million for their former player, plus a further £5 million add-on, representing a huge loss for the club. Of course, it is a huge loss for the club. Let's just say we bought him for 50 million, which is a sort of compromise on the conflicting reports. So we've lost half his money, but he's 3 years older. He's 3 years down into his contract, just 2 years left. He has been hugely underwhelming, so his stock has lowered. And we got an important player in a Champions League title win. So you're almost paying 25 million for those 3 years for, what he delivered, which ultimately was a successful period. So, it's no way near the astronomical gargantuan L that represents the Romelu Lukaku purchase. We paid 100 million for a Club World Cup win for a couple of those goals. On Monday, Werner was spotted in Germany ahead of his transfer, which is yesterday, with Marcos Alonso's agent also seen in Barcelona as the defender pushes for a cut-price move to the La Liga giants. Of course, Chelsea in serious continual talks with Barcelona for, telling them what's going on with Adsby, selling them Alonso, being offered many of their players, which we'll move on to in just a moment. Chelsea remain keen on signing Wesley Fofana of Leicester City. This seems to be gathering momentum as well during what remains of the summer's transfer window in what is likely to be a busy few weeks at Stamford Bridge. It's popping off. So it does look like Werner out, does look like Alonso out. They're pretty much certain. There is speculation a midfielder could still leave this window out of Kante and Jorginho. I doubt it would be Kante, but Jorginho looks pretty happy. Like, he looks like he's very happy to be at Chelsea, that he'd be open to extending. The mood's good. His old teammate Khalidou Koulibaly's back. Look, man, I really like Jorginho as a guy. I think he's a valuable player in some ways in terms of how he plays. If he wants to leave, he wouldn't be a player that I would be particularly like, no, because especially it would probably represent that Chelsea are buying another midfielder. But let's move on. Let's cite this article from the Daily the Telegraph, Matt Law's paper. I'll drop a link down in the description because it's behind a paywall, and I don't want to say the whole article either, so I just want to cite parts of it, portions of it. Chelsea could find out this week if they have a realistic chance of signing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Barcelona, with Timo Werner on the brink of sealing his permanent return to RB Leipzig. Werner's move, together with the fact that Callum Hudson-Odoi and Hakim Ziyech want to leave Stamford Bridge, spat into the mic because I'm wearing my aligners, I'm very sorry about that, after the window shuts, or before the window shuts, excuse me, will heighten Chelsea's need to sign another attacker. Yeah, of course, Milan were heavily in for Hakim Ziyech. What happened to that? That story kind of slowed down a little bit. I think he was on the bench the other day, didn't feature. We've got so many young attackers. Hudson-Odoi, again, we've reflected on this story. I'd be very happy for him to go on a loan to like a Dortmund. If he does amazing, come back and start. If you don't want to start, we sell you for more money. Do you know what I mean? Like, shit will get off the pot, if you excuse my French. Go and start 35 league games on the wing and see if you can do it. If we get rid of, in one transfer window, Lukaku, Werner, our two biggest earners on attackers, Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, 4 players, and only bring in Raheem Sterling as a replacement, we'll still need another attacker. So yeah, we'll see what happens like that. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, how old is he? 33, 34? It's just... He'll be on astronomical wages, a couple of years. Look, again, I'm going to maintain my same relatively boring, mundane position on this of, if the gaffer wants it, give it to the gaffer. Look, Aubameyang's best ever goal-scoring season was under Thomas Tuchel at Dortmund. It's the same as, Ousmane Dembele's best ever attacking season was under Thomas Tuchel at Dortmund. So he feels like he can get through to these players. He has got a great relationship with Aubameyang. If we sign him on a 2-year deal, or a 1+1, even better. If it doesn't work, we can send him on his way. Do you know what I mean? So let me know what you think about Aubameyang down in the comments there. Let's move on. Chelsea have been prioritising their interest in a defender, Wesley Fofana, who they remain in dialogue with Leicester City over. The midfielder, Frenkie De Jong, who is yet to inform Barcelona that he wants to leave, but discussions are set to take place this week over Chelsea's interest in Aubameyang and whether or not the striker could be prized out of Barcelona. He absolutely could be, because they want to register new player, Robert Lewandowski. And if you said to them, which one are you going to get rid of? They will absolutely say, Aubameyang, see you later, mate. And also Memphis Depay. It is understood that Barcelona are likely to sell one of Aubameyang or Memphis Depay, who have also been linked to Chelsea and is a target for Juventus. I think United should buy Memphis Depay again, not just because he's Dutch, Ten Hag's Dutch, but if they're gonna, there's even talks that Depay might get his contract ripped up. Look, Aubameyang probably makes sense. Frenkie De Jong is interesting. Of course, we've had Harry Redknapp saying on the Byline podcast that he wants to come to Chelsea, a story that we reported on here or reflected on here on the channel. And then there's conflicting reports from Spanish media saying he just doesn't want to leave, he wants to honour his contract, which is the absolute right to do, by the way. You've been given a contract. If you want to just do your job and honour your contract, you should absolutely be able to do that. And it's quite funny watching Barcelona squirm. So why not? Ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona manager Xavi Hernandez would ideally like to keep Aubameyang, who's moved to Spain from Arsenal at the end of the January transfer window, but the club may be forced to take a more pragmatic approach, having also signed Robert Lewandowski. We need all these old strikers, with more old strikers to like just hang around. Chelsea have been in talks with Barcelona over a number of deals this summer, with the two clubs seemingly maintaining good relations despite competing with one another. Left back Marcos Alonso has agreed a deal to go with Barcelona, and Azpilicueta, of course, decided to stay at Chelsea. As well as waiting on the news for Aubameyang, Chelsea are waiting to see on whether or not De Jong will decide to leave the Camp Nou. If he does, there's confidence he would choose London over Manchester. Yeah, we've already reflected on that. He doesn't want to go to Manchester United. He would come to Chelsea. But as we said previously, this would probably reflect a Jorginho exit, maybe, and then a sort of Frenkie De Jong comes in place of him. Werner's departure will create significant space on the wage bill, as the German earned close to £270,000 a week. And Chelsea will get £20 million for him. Less than half of, here we go, half of this £47.5 million the club paid for him 2 years ago. That was 3 years ago. Matt, so you got that wrong. 47.5, that was the buyout clause. I believe Matt Law's right, and in this instance, I believe Nizar Kinsella is wrong. So £25, more than half, 3 years later. The deal ain't that bad, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it's not ideal, but it's not bad. But Werner's book value, 3 years remaining on his contract, was nearly £30 million, meaning Chelsea have accepted a relatively small loss that could potentially decrease in various add-ons were paid. So essentially Werner scores goals for Leipzig, gets them into the Champions League. Chelsea get more money. Yeah. Also, the wages of Romelu Lukaku were astronomical as well. So getting those two, misfiring forwards off the books was hugely beneficial for Chelsea. Matt Law also goes on to talk about the exits, or potential exits, of Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi, which we've spoken about. Malang Sarr is on the cusp of joining Monaco. The Ligue 1 have agreed to pay £600,000 to take him on loan, and I guess they will be paying his wages as well, with an obligation to buy him should the conditions are met. And the conditions for Malang Sarr to be bought is he plays a certain amount of appearances, like a certain amount of games, so they're using him essentially, then you got to buy him. So you use it, you buy it, honey. As long as and that'll be for £10 million pounds, yeah, with 3 million in add-ons. So £13 million plus 600,000 loan fee for what was a free transfer for us. Free money. This was all smart business, ladies and gentlemen. So that's good. Of course, Chelsea are still looking at cover for right wing back. And of course, we're looking at Inter Milan's Denzel Dumfries. And Southampton's Kyle Walker-Peters, which doesn't necessarily excite, but it will be rotational backup option for Reece James at right wing back. Yes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek's played okay there, and it could look like he could be good then, but they probably just want, he will remain a utility player, Loftus-Cheek, I think, and, a Walker-Peters or Dumfries would actually be the Cucurella to the, James's Chilwell, if that makes sense. It's kind of, I'm here for that. I'm totally here for that, to be honest. I'm not saying Kyle Walker-Peters is as good as Marc Cucurella as a wing-back, but you know what I mean. It's rotational options. Now, there's a little bit more in this article, but I don't want to read it all. It's behind the paywall. Go check it out. I'll link in the description. So where do we think? We need to discuss a few things. Aubameyang for maybe a year or two. Cover of a right wing back. Breaking the defender transfer record potentially for Wesley Fofana. And loads of other forwards leaving the door. If it is indeed, because Werner's not been playing down the middle, so he's a wide forward. Hudson-Odoi very much is a winger. Hakim Ziyech very much is a winger. So we'll be losing 3 wingers to bring in a striker in Aubameyang. I know Aubameyang can play off the left as well. Kind of interesting, isn't it? It's kind of, we have to change the way we're going to attack maybe? Are we going to be a bit more transitional? Is Kai Havertz going to be more of a player in behind a forward, because Raheem Sterling looks like he's played a lot down the middle? Is it going to be Sterling down the middle, Mount and Kai behind, and then, Aubameyang down the middle, Mount and Sterling behind, maybe, Sterling moves to the left slightly? I think people talk about Sterling needing to be a left winger, like he starts on the left, but it doesn't really matter. He's so intelligent. He's been part of a Guardiola fluid front three for such a long time that it doesn't really matter where you play him. Even if he plays on the right, he can put in loads of great service with his right foot. If you look at the last game of the season for City, when he comes off the bench and assists that goal for the comeback so they win the title, Man City, that ball he puts in from the right wing is bellissimo. So you can play Sterling anywhere across the front three, literally, and you're going to be okay. What do you guys think? Comment down below, express your thoughts, feelings and opinions. Thank you for dropping a like if you're yet to do it. Please do it on your way out. Let's see if we can get over 3,000 likes. Welcome to sub. Hit the sweet, sweet bell, baby. And I'll see you very, very soon.